Hello and welcome to this module where we discuss management reports. The management reporting function extracts information from the stock system and presents it in different ways to enable decision making at the different levels of management. We discussed earlier the concept of multi-dimensional data modeling, and we said it allows us to enter raw data at the very bottom level of the organization, and that data is now automatically calculated, summarized, aggregated at various levels. We are now going to be discussing some of the reports that can be available from a stock management system. So not all systems are the same because of the varying scope and scale of implementation, but we are going to look at the general reports that I think can be found in most systems. The first type of reports are called stock usage reports. So these are reports that provide details of stock usage. They provide operations managers with enough information to plan for stock replenishment. MRP reports provide details of stocks that need to be purchased in order to meet production orders. If your stock system is linked to your production system, every time that you are issuing stocks to a job card or to a works order, those materials are recorded against the job card. So you can be able to analyze stock usage by job card. So you will know on this particular job, these are the materials that were utilized. Another type of report is a stock movement history. So this provides historical information on the turnover of individual stock items. This information is crucial for ABC classifications, the one that tells us which are the fast moving and the slow moving items. Decisions to make certain items obsolete would be made if the items have not had any movement for a long period. So you would print a stock movement history and then analyze which items have not moved at all, say for the past 6 months, or which items have had very minimum movement. You can then decide not to buy those items again and only wait until you have an order that requires that particular item. We then have stock take reports. These are reports that provide the general state of the information system being employed. The less the discrepancies, the more accurate and reliable the information system. Stock count results enable management to evaluate the extent to which members of staff are following all the operation procedures for the system in place. Deviations may result in negative balances or stock variances when, for example, transactions are not entered timely and in the correct order. Stores may receive goods from suppliers and the goods are issued to production before they are recorded as receipts in the store system. If the issuing transaction is recorded first, then a negative balance may result. When we now perform a stock take or a stock check, there will be a variance between the record in our book or in the computer and the physical balance in stores. So stock check reports help us to troubleshoot, or rather to diagnose the quality of our information system. The next set of reports are the stock valuation reports. Stock valuation reports represent stock movements and stores resources in dollar terms. They show management the value of stocks in the various stock accounts. So we are no longer just looking at stock in terms of quantities, we are looking at it in terms of value. Some organizations use the weighted average costing, where when you mix items bought at different prices, you recalculate the average price based on the contribution of each batch of stock. Others will use the replacement value method, which says it doesn't matter at what price the stock was bought. When we are calculating its value today, we use the value or the amount that we need to replace the stock. Because if we bought the item at $5 yesterday, if we say it's worth $5 today, then we sell it even for $7, we will not be able to replace it if the price has increased to $10. So we look at the value today on the market and we say, to replace this item I need $10. So that is where I peg the value of the stock items as of today. We also have stock out reports. Some point of sale systems allow the operator to enter details of sales that are lost because a customer requested to purchase a quantity greater than the quantity on hand. The stock out reports enable management to make decisions on safety stock levels for the items in question. When we're discussing key performance indicators, we said stock out is one of the key performance indicators. So when the cashier is registering every time that there's a stock out, we are building a record that shows management the extent to which our procurement procedures or our procurement policies are really working. We can also generate tracking reports. So these are reports that enable the tracing of individual input components through the production process to a batch of finished product using one of the serialization methods. So if there is a need to trace components through the production up to the finished product, then we need to use one of the serialization methods, either individually serialized items or batch serialized items. There are instances where it is critical to be able to trace or to track where the raw materials came from, so that if there is a problem with the end product, we know which supplier to approach. The next set of reports are the stock replenishment reports. So these are reports that help with stock replenishment decisions. In other words, when we want to decide what to buy and when to buy. The first replenishment report is the stock status report. So a stock status report is basically a list of items at each store showing their current balance and reorder level. We already looked at such a report when we went to the main store and to the sub stores, and we printed the balance at the current store. It was showing the part number as well as the reorder level and the quantity on hand. So that would be a stock status report. You can also generate a report of items that are reaching or that have reached reorder level. So this report gives a list of items that are approaching or have already gone below their reorder level, and it indicates whether an order has already been placed for the item. If no order has been placed, then we make a decision to place a purchase order. The next report is for items that are below minimum level. This report shows where the reorder process has failed and items have been allowed to go below the minimum level before new orders have arrived. So remember, we were showing that calculation of how to determine the reorder level so that by the time the order arrives, we still have more than the minimum quantity. If it so happens that you deplete your stock to go below the minimum level, then it means that your system has failed. We also can generate a report of items that have gone above the maximum level. So in this case, we are showing items where the maximum order quantity has not been observed, or the order was placed before the items reached reorder level and still the maximum quantity was ordered, resulting in the stock balance exceeding the maximum level when the new items arrived. So there's a reason why we set a maximum order quantity, so that we never exceed the maximum level. So this report also tells us when our procurement policy has failed. We can also generate a report of items with negative balances. This report presents a list of items for which the record in the book or database does not match the physical balance, because items were received from suppliers and were not recorded on the system. But when they were issued, the transaction was recorded and the balance went into negative. This situation can be corrected by identifying the transaction that was not recorded and recording it so that it reverses the negative balance. And then the last report is your recommended reorder list. So this is now a list of items that need to be ordered because they've reached or they will soon reach their reorder level. So you can see that you have a wide scope of reports that help you to make decisions, that help you to enforce policies. So as a manager, if you are looking at these reports constantly, you will be able to correct situations that are going wrong before they are actually out of hand. Many times we go into crisis mode because we do not look at the indicators. The reports are there showing you items going below minimum level. The reports are there showing you items that are going above maximum quantity, but nobody is looking at those reports. So if you are religious enough to look at your reports, identify the ones that are key, and you are looking at them on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you will discover that it becomes very easy for you to make decisions that are going to keep your stock in check. In the next module, we are going to discuss the stock check cycle from the planning process, the execution, until the generation of the variance reports after stock take. So we see you in the next module.